morning. Just give everybody a minute to hop on. Oh, hi, Monica. Last night after we wrapped up bingo, we had snow in Fort Collins. Not a lot, just a kind of a little dusting, enough to make it slick. But now they're saying like for the next 5 days, snow, and then really cold temperatures. We usually have 1 week or so where it's, you know, below zero. For us, it was that Martin Luther King holiday weekend where we had like the -30 wind chills, and our kids got had delays for school. But it's looking like this week again, some of the lows, like the actual temperature is going to be -10, and then the wind chills, you know, 20, 30 below, and that's kind of not normal for us. So I'm not looking forward to that, except it's kind of nice to have a cold night, like one, if you don't have anywhere you have to go, because it's nice to wrap up in my robe, watch a show, and, you know, maybe craft a little bit too. I'm put my arm over there. I'm going to put my cord. Okay, that way we don't lose battery. Okay, so it looks like we have about 10 people on. People are just waking up. I'm hoping. I know a lot of people are going to be online, especially on Facebook today with the Super Bowl. So hopefully our technology will cooperate. So we are going to do this really fun make and take this morning. Everything is pretty much prepped, ready to go in this little bag. The only thing that you're going to have to do is cut your ribbon as you use it. Now I will say, we used the Simple Stories My Story collection. It was out maybe 2 years ago, 1 year ago, I don't know, not that long ago. But it was, when I saw the banners, I knew we wanted to make a banner. And when I found the banners pre-made from American Crafts that were black, I'm like, oh, this collection would be perfect. And it has the florals and the bits and pieces. So everyone's pieces will probably be slightly different, because we basically took all the florals, dumped them in a giant like popcorn bowl, mixed them up, and then just counted them out as we were laying them out for 75. So you should have some, like all of the same number of pieces. They'll just look a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and tear into this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like doing a banner. And this one, especially for Sunday morning after, you know, whatever you've had going on all weekend, I feel like this is just a easy project with a nice end result. All right, so let's get this out of here. So I was able to find these, because that was the other task. I really wanted to do a banner, but did I want to have to cut on my Cricut this many pieces over and over 75 times? And I didn't. So when I was searching, these banners are from American Crafts. They come like this. It's like a notepad. And we were able to get 3 banners from one little notepad. I don't know if they even sell them anymore. I was shocked. I had never seen them. But yeah, and then they came with the black twine, which you're getting in your bag. So for right now, what you need to do, I just folded it back and forth, and they pop right off of there. So go ahead and just separate those so we get them ready to go. Oh, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Deb. It's always nice to have something in your crafty space, right? And then bonus that it's cute and you made it. And like I was saying before, if you decide that you want to do another design on the back, then you can do that and do another word. And that was when I initially started. I'm like, well, we could do the word love, and then on the back we could do craft. I was trying to come up with different words, but for years I did the crafts for our mom's group, MOPS, which is now called the Mom Co. And we would do the banner, like we would do a fall one, but then you could reverse it and it would say boo. So then they had it for 2 seasons to decorate and hang on their fireplace. So I always like things that you can use for longer, multifunctional. All right, so I'm gonna try to shift things just a little bit. That way you can see mine. But I can still work on it. I do have some black ink, coal miner. I've got a lot of my pieces so that we can finish up the layout. And then foam squares, because I did pop up a lot of this. And then we ended up, Ashley was helping me the day that we were prepping all of this. So we ended up using a different color than the recommended color vibe that should match it, and I actually love it. We just started pulling out all of my color vibe. I have a whole wall of it from Simple Stories, and yeah, came across this one. I think this is Peacock, and it just went with it perfectly. Okay, so you should have some florals, some dots, and then you should have 6 circles and your letters. If anybody's missing a letter, it happens. I will get it to you. You should have like 2 of each. And you can decide, it's all from the same collection. So if you like the back, I was really torn because I really wanted to use the butterflies. And I'm like, no, I'll keep it simple. So maybe on this second one, I'll use the butterflies. But that, yeah, these all go really well with the dark, and it just kind of makes them pop. All right, so I am just going to start out by inking these. I don't have my coffee here with me yet. Adam was gonna bring it down. Thankful for him this weekend. We have chili in the crock pot for lunch. And then if there's any chili left, we'll probably have it tonight with like nachos or fries so that we can watch the Super Bowl. And I have my water here just because it's been, my voice has held up, which is good, but it's so incredibly dry. I sat last night just my face in front of the humidifier to try to help my throat to hang in there for another day or 2. Yeah, I really like this butterfly one. Okay, and then I'm just going to ink a little bit on the letters. It's not, I'm not that worried if I don't get every part of them. It just gives it a little bit of that outline to make it sort of separate from that round circle. And I'm a fast inker, I know that. Not everyone likes to ink, but I always say once you do it, then it's like you can't go back, right? Like then you feel like everything needs it. Yesterday during Erica's first layout, she had you outline with a black pen, and that is something she did. Lael does that a lot, and once you start doing that, that's addicting too, because then you're like, this kind of adds a little bit, extra layer as you're putting your page together. Okay, so I have all my letters ready, and I have my circles ready. Now, really the fun part is just to decorate, use your pieces, and you do you, and figure out what you would like. So I'm a very much, a type A pattern person. So I did like an ABC pattern. That's what I'm going to do again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I just might change up the order a little bit. Okay, so I have my foam squares here. Find the letter C, and I'm going to pop these up. All right, so we buffered a little bit while I was doing the welcome. I'm hoping you heard my story. I was sharing that last year I ran the crafts for Vacation Bible School at our church, and we prepare for 850 kids, which is a lot. And we start now, like we're starting now for this year, which is a camping theme. And from March through May, on Thursdays, I have a wonderful group of ladies, some retired, some still working. They just come and do a pickup, and they prep for 3 months. And I learned so much. I get to know them, and it's such a selfless act because they have no idea what these crafts end up as, and they have no idea the kids' reactions. So they're really just there because they want to help, they want to be a part of it, and you know, we socialize. And so one of the ladies had shared with me that she had just lost her job and that she was trying to do a little bit of a side hustle with Etsy, doing knitting and crocheting, and showed me a couple of the things she had made. And I said, I have an event coming up with 75 women, and I love being able to add handmade pieces. I said, they love it too, and to support another small business. So could I hire you to make these for us? So she started right away. That was in June. And then in December, when she handed them off to me, that's when she shared that she had a job, which was very exciting. She got a job in Denver at the Performing Arts Center and is really enjoying it. So I'm not sure how much crocheting and crafting she's actually doing now, but it was just great to be able to help her, and it helps us because then we get a really nice handmade gift. All right, I'm just kind of alternating between the smaller and the larger to get the letters on here. Sometimes Simple Stories will come out with a collection, and this one I know just because of how it was on our side as a wholesale retailer. Sometimes they don't do as well, and I think it's because sometimes the color palette is intimidating, or this one had a lot of really big pieces. But we were able to, when I talked to Jody, my rep, you know, I said, I want to use this. We're going to use the florals, where, you know, I'm like, I think it's the perfect color palette for us. So I'm really excited that it worked out, and I do have a little paper left over that eventually I hope to make layout pages with. Okay, so as I've talked here, I've got all of my letters on the circles. And then for some of your pieces, as I sorted through them, you should have some larger ones. I guess I'm just lucky. That was random that I got the same larger ones that I had before. So with the larger ones, I wanted to tuck them under on the letters. So like on this E here, I ended up tucking it underneath. Otherwise it would just overpower it. But then the smaller ones, you can put right alongside the letters, which is what I've done here. And then I picked my two favorite pieces to be kind of my end anchors. So that's what I'll do first, so that I have those laying out. And I'm sorry, it's a big project, so it's going to be hard to keep seeing all of it on the camera probably as I do this. So I think I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm just going to do the yellowish creamy flower on this side. And then I'll do the purple flower on this side. And I just wanted the leaves going out that way, personal preference. And it does not bother me if they hang over a little bit. And then, let's see what other pieces I have. What are the odds? I got almost the same pack that I had before, and that's two different random packs. This piece I'm not going to use. I think you could if you wanted to. It might be even cute to cut it in half and cover it, but I think I'm just going to set that aside. That one's pretty large. And then I'll use some of these other ones. So I think just to change it up a bit, put some foam squares on my flower here. And then I'm also going to pop up this camera. So some of the other pieces, like in the first The first time when I made it, I had a butterfly. I've got a few other, I know there were some like library type office pieces with this collection. Okay, so I have my camera and flower, and then on this side I will do flower again, and maybe this tab. I like this because, especially on this one, I might put the year, and I'm not sure on this other one yet. But I said this yesterday during Andrea's class. You think you'll remember, right? I always think like, oh, well, I'll remember when I made this or what event this was. And as time goes by, I don't. So I've learned to date everything, use Post-its for everything. I wonder if, no, maybe not. Okay, so I have my 2 anchor pieces. Now I'm going to build my letters in between. And just kind of looking at what I have left. I've got some florals, I've got a couple tabs, and I have these books again. I'm probably gonna do the books somewhere in the middle. So maybe the books with like maybe I'll do the books with the R, because then there's a little more space. So with the C, I think I'm just going to do a floral down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna adhere that one. And as I was putting this together, I did alternate a little bit, like if I did it up here, if I did it on the top left, then I did the right, you know, but no one knows that except me. No one's going to notice that. That's how my brain works. Here it is. Like, I know it was a double flower. All right, so I'm gonna put foam squares on this one. And add it right there. Okay, so I have my C. And then for this next one, I had already decided I'm going to add the books because they fit nicely there with that R. Hi, Andrea. Good morning. Okay, and I'm just gonna add some foam squares and pop this one up. Okay, Andrea's on Simple Stories design team. Did you ever design with this collection? I think it's My Story. All right, so I have my R. I'm gonna add my E. I think for this one, I might do it like this so that it's coming out the top of that E. So you can see the hint of the leaves and the hint of the flowers. And I will not pop it up because I'm going to tuck it underneath there. Actually, no, I want to tuck it like this. Okay. All right, so moving along here, slide my other anchor piece. Okay, letter A. I'm kind of thinking this large flower I'm going to save for letter T because I like it with the butterflies, and you could actually fit it there because the T is so skinny. So I think on the A, I'm going to do a smaller flower there. And hopefully you're able to make it work with whatever pieces you have. All right, so stick that one down. Okay, next, my letter T. I'm gonna try to fit this big flower on. Okay, so I'm going to cover the T up a little bit, but it's not so much that you can't tell what the letter is. All right, shift it over just a little bit. And then my last letter is an E. And I have this really pretty cluster. I think what I'm going to do is trim it just a little bit so that I can tuck it under the E, because I would like to see it more on top. All right, and then now that I have all these pieces on, I still have a few left, so I'm gonna lift this E up a little bit and try not to rip it, because I want to squeeze it underneath just a tiny bit. There we go. Okay, so I do have kind of random, like a couple tiny flowers. I've got a tab and a tag left. And then I've got my dots. I've got like the pale pink, and I've got the dark green. So for some of my dots, I use them as centers of the flowers. Some of these are huge, it's not going to work, but some of the smaller ones, it's just a nice accent. I'll probably do that here to accent the green. I love that hunter green that's mixed in. Whoops, got one stuck to my fingers here. Okay, and then I think just to keep it balanced, I am gonna do this on the other end. And then I have my other set of dots, and for these, I am going to use it in the middle of some of my flowers. It's nice to be able to kind of overlay and see, will that fit? Yes. Okay, and then my last one, I think I'm going to add it to the E. And I do still have these teeny tiny flowers left, so I'm gonna use them up. I'm gonna put one over here. And then this other little one, put on the other anchor, the other end piece. Okay, so hopefully you've been able to keep basically just, sticking things together. And then the part that really takes a while is the ribbon. And I'll show you my trick for the ribbon. Let me know if you're okay to move on. I feel like this is a pretty simple project. I don't want to get way ahead, but let me know if you've got your pieces made and we can start working on ribbon. Yes, okay, we got some thumbs up. Okay, so the main thing for a banner like this is that you don't want to tie it too tight. So you want you can see how there's kind of a gap with how I've tied it, okay? And I didn't do anything fancy. It's basically just double knotted, but you want there to be a wider gap. Otherwise it's gonna squeeze your letters and possibly rip the holes. I didn't reinforce any of the holes. You could do that if you have the, you know, like the reinforcement circles, or there's a punch, and I have it here somewhere. But you could use the top of, you could use this piece that you have remaining and punch it if you want to add reinforcement. I did not do that to mine, okay? But that is an option. All right, thanks, Trisha. So what I decided to do, I wanted the black as the end pieces, and then I did the colorful ribbon in between. You can do it however you want. You don't have to use all the ribbon. You will need, like one color won't work all the way. You don't have enough. So if you want just one solid color the whole way, you may need ribbon from your own stash, because I think we gave you, yeah, probably about a yard of each one. And all of this ribbon is from May Arts, except for the twine, which came with the banners. So I think I chose to do the black on the ends just because this one was so chunky. So I'm gonna pull this out first. The other thing to remember when you start doing the middle pieces is that you want to come under and up. So that way you see all of these pretty ties, okay? You don't want to thread down and go back. You want to go under and up, and you'll see that as I'm working. So I'm gonna hold these together, and I'm actually just gonna cut it because for me, it's harder to work with when it's this long. And so I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here. That's probably about 12 inches is where I'm cutting the black and white at. And then I'm going to do it again at 12 inches because I will do it on the other side. I'm gonna have both. Okay, and then I'm gonna set that aside for now. I used my scissors to help tie so that I would not go too tight. I'll show you in just a second. The hardest part is probably getting it threaded. Okay, so I have this one threaded here, and then I put my scissors here to kind of hold it so that I don't go too tight. And then tied once. And tied again. And then you can just slip them out, tighten it up a little bit, and then this is your end to be able to hang it. And it's a little bit of a thicker ribbon. Okay, and then since I already have this cut, I'm going to do the same thing at the other end. Come up from the bottom. And then I will put my scissors in there. Just getting them even, there we go. And then I'm just doing a double knot. It's not as pretty of a knot just because it's such a chunky ribbon, but it's not something you're going to notice once you're hanging it. And then pull my scissors out, make sure it's tight. Okay, and then I've got my anchor strings at each end. Okay, for the ones in the middle here, I did my ribbon at about 9 inches And I first I just eyeballed it, and then I'm like, oh, I probably should tell you how much I was doing. I'm gonna change it up for this one and do more. I'm gonna do the orange and the coral together. Okay, and then I will start weaving those in. Kind of wrap it around just to make it easier to thread. And then again, I'm going to come up from the underside. So I'm going to do it on the C. And then I'm going to do the same thing on my anchor piece here. And luckily it's decent ribbon. There hasn't been too much fraying because I've kind of tugged at my sample and it's been okay. It's just not like threading the needle. You gotta try to, there we go. Okay, so I want to leave this nice gap in between. I'm going to put my scissors here, and that way I won't tie it too tight. I'm not sure if it's better to do this project in the morning when you're kind of awake or in the evening when you're sleepy. I think it depends if you're the morning or the morning person or night owl. It's not a hard project. It's just when you get to the ribbon part, it's like, oh, it gets a little tedious. Okay. Got both of those pulled through. And I'm gonna pull my scissors out. Okay. Then I'm just gonna keep going along. Oh, thank you, Nancy. So I'm just gonna keep going along same way. For my next one, I'm gonna alternate to the green. And then I will just keep talking while I put this together. You get these cut first. It's nice to have my mat here to just be able to do it. When we were cutting, oh my gosh, hundreds of pieces of ribbon, we lay down painter's tape, the length of it, and then we just keep unrolling, cut, so that we can assembly line all the ribbon. And it's so pretty when it's all done. If you've ever seen Paige Evans, whenever she preps all of her thread or ribbon for an event, and she'll usually photograph the pile, it's always so pretty. Okay, same thing as before, under and up. So we started a thread this morning on Facebook about events, because I know that I love to see all of you. I love to craft with you. I am going to She Loves Color this year. I'm super excited. I can't remember on Simple Stories. I've at least paid the deposit. That's the one I'm on the fence about if I will go. It's just very hard to go to two events back to back like that, and I was not expecting Simple Stories to have their event again this year. Usually they do it every other. So yeah, but I loved She Loves Color this year, and I think too because it was fall in the Midwest. So yeah, and I say this all the time, but please, if you see me at an event, come introduce yourself, give me a hug. I love being able to finally connect in person. That's the best part of our little crafty world, is this great, circle of friends that we've created. So Andrea has posted, she has an amazing collaboration with some crafty women that is called Scrap and Learn, and her next retreat just opened to the public, virtual retreat. I will tell you, I did the box and did it last time, and it was incredible. Plus you are exposed to, well, just different talent. I feel like sometimes we're seeing the same people over and over, and it's so nice to be exposed to different companies, because they're also tapping into Spain, and I think was it Venezuela or Port? I'm probably not saying it right. So, oh wow, your daughter got married, Angie. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you can go this year. It was great. So anyway, Andrea has posted hers for Scrap and Learn. Highly recommend. If you do not want to do the box, I believe she also has access only. Shamel is one of their guest teachers, and then I think Becky Adams. I'm forgetting people, I know that, but she has an amazing lineup, so she shared info on that post. Tracy has the Hive open right now, which she'll talk about, I'm sure, later too, but that's kind of her private online group, and it's really a good deal because I think it's $15 a month, but you get a free download. And her, I love her albums. I teach and I craft, and I'm a business, but I love getting an artsy album and taking it with me, especially on like a dance weekend or something, because it's all prepped and ready to go, and I can sit there and work on it and not have to haul, my wagon full of stuff. So she has the Hive open right now, which I think it closes very soon. And then Tracy and I are doing a one-day retreat called You Are My Sunshine. And I saw the pin last night. I don't know, we're probably not sharing images yet, but the pin is adorable. So Doodlebug is making the pin for us. We don't have product sneaks yet because we want to do a summer theme so that you're either scrapbooking past summer memories or you're ready for this summer. So it will be a mini album and then a layout class with me, and then of course little goodies and some shopping. And that is just a one-day event in May. That's a virtual retreat in a box. Erica has a big list of things. I'm not sure. I don't think I had seen her post hers yet, but I know she has one on International Scrapbook Day, a weekend planned in May. I attended hers last year and met a lot of you, which was amazing. It was just a fun weekend. She has space at, I think, 2 different hotels that she rents out and then does these great weekends. So that, I didn't see it when I checked, but I was scrolling through really fast this morning to make sure I hadn't missed any urgent questions. So yeah, she'll share things about that too. And yeah, it's busy, there's just so many events popping up all the time. I know there's an amazing event happening in Texas with Paige and Vicky and Cherie, who's been in our group this weekend. It's her company, her group that does it. Cherie also does an amazing crop in honor of her daughter. And that's usually in the summer. And then I'm trying to think, what else am I missing? There's another big one. Because in October, Paige and Andrea will be having an event in August in Denver in person. And I have been fortunate the last couple years that I've been the pop-up shop at their event. So I've got to help with goodie bags and making sure you all have adhesive, all that fun stuff. So a lot of events. It's very encouraging for the industry. And, like I said, this is the modern day quilting bee. We connect and get to see each other and hug and squeal and geek out over all of the same exciting new papers, new collections, all of it. That's quite all right, Deb. Yes, and I may go to both. I just may cut it short. I'm just not sure yet. The Simple Stories one last year I did go to, but they were a month apart, so it was much easier to swing that. This time they're like a week apart, so that's tough. And then it's the Sheila's Color I left on Saturday. I did the one class in the morning and then I missed the afternoon classes to fly back because it was Lauren's birthday. So we'll see. It's just taking it kind of one day at a time. So I've had messages, I've had other people comment. Very happy with this weekend, and thank you. Thank you for all the kindness, the kind words. I love putting together all the details. I love thinking about each of you and spoiling you, and hopefully exposing you to new product lines or techniques. It's just, I enjoy it. I love a theme. I said that to Andrea and Paige when we were planning the Nebraska event, like, I need a theme, give me a theme and I'll take off with it. So this one, I know people were hesitant, like, I don't want to make Valentine's projects the whole weekend. I'm like, I promise we're not. It's just, I need a theme. So if I could somehow make Wheel of Fortune a theme, I would do that. Anyway, so thank you for all the positivity, and yeah, we literally prepare for a year, and then get those boxes out to you, and then we'll wrap up in about 2 weeks, because it'll take about 2 weeks after the event to total up invoices and start shipping all the product, which is great too. But it's just, you have to, when you're planning an event, you have to tell yourself it's really not over on the business side for those couple weeks after. All right, let me tie this. For right now, I am not going to announce a 2026 event. If I do decide to announce one, I will post here first. You will have first dibs. There will be enough seats for virtual boxes, for every single person in here, whether you're access only or not. But for right now, it's just not possible. I did not want to put a damper on the weekend. The weekend before Thanksgiving, my daughter, Lauren, who's 17, she got up in the middle of the night and she had a headache. And she came and got me. We were both really out of it. It was 3 a.m. And I sat with her for an hour or so, assumed it was probably like a migraine, and she went back to bed. The next day we had family pictures. And while we were at pictures, she said, my hand is numb. It feels like it's asleep. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird, didn't think much of it. She was groggy, but if you've had a migraine before, especially a really bad one, you kind of have a migraine hangover. So that Sunday, she woke up and the numbness had spread up and down her whole left side. And so my husband took her to the ER. Well, actually, he went to urgent care first, and they sent them to the ER. And they did some evaluating. I mean, my first thought was like, oh my gosh, has she had a stroke? So they did, evaluated her, did her vitals, all that, and then they ended up doing an MRI. Really didn't say much of anything other than, let's give her the migraine cocktail and then follow up with a neurologist in 3 to 6 months. Okay. The migraine cocktail actually made her worse, made her feel just awful. So that was, to me, that was kind of a warning sign, like, okay, it should have instantly made her feel better. So this was Sunday. Monday, I start calling neuro offices because I want to at least get our foot in the door. And I knew that most places around here were up to a year wait. And they had said 3 to 6 months. Like, okay. I was turned down call after call because she was under 18. No one would see her. So then by Tuesday, I start over again at 8 in the morning, and I called Children's Hospital. And while I was on hold with Children's, the nurse came back and she said, we have a cancellation with a neurologist tomorrow morning, the day before Thanksgiving. If it was my child, I would take it. And I said, okay, we're going to do that. Sure. So I put my husband and my other 2 children on a plane to South Dakota for Thanksgiving. And Lauren and I drove to Aurora to Children's Hospital. We drove the night before because, of course, it was snowing and ice, and it was also, very busy travel time. she was feeling a little better, but still having the numbness and kind of freaked out. And, you know, I was being super positive. I'm like, we only took this appointment to get our foot in the door. That way in 3 to 6 months, we'll get, you know, evaluated. Yeah. So the next morning, went to Children's, met with our now new best friend, neurologist. He's from the Midwest, so a lot of connections. And honestly, there was this all happened in less than 24 hours. I didn't research him. I didn't know anything about him, his background, anything. He examined Lauren, said, you know, everything neurologically was looking good. I handed him the paperwork from the ER. Nothing there stood out to him. So he's like, I want to order an MRI of the spine. And then I would like to do some blood work and then some other tests, you know, and then we'll just see what comes back. I'm like, okay, fine. It was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I said to Lauren, I'm like, let's just see if we can just get it done today. So I made a few phone calls right there when we were in the cafeteria, and they were able to get her in for an MRI at 4 o'clock. And then we could drive home that night if she was feeling up to it. So that's what we did. The blood work was all coming back totally normal. When we had talked to the doctor, he said, you know, it could be anxiety. It could have been, migraine. So we were feeling pretty positive. After the MRI, she was actually hungry because she hadn't eaten much. So we went on the drive home, stopped for a pretzel. And while we were standing in line, I got the ding on my phone that the MRI was back. And I looked at it very quickly, sent it to my husband in South Dakota, and said, don't text me because I have to drive home. We were almost home when the doctor called us. So 7 p.m. the night before Thanksgiving. And he said, I am very sorry. The images that I am seeing now today do not match the report and the images that you had done at your hospital in Fort Collins. And there's evidence of demyelinating on her brain in multiple spots, which indicates multiple sclerosis. MS is something that you have to eliminate a lot of other things before you can say that that's what it is. So, huge shock. Thanksgiving Day, I think Lauren and I sat together and cried a lot of the day, not knowing what was going to happen. My husband came back with the girls the next day. And then the plan from there was we really wanted to wait and see what would happen in the next month. So I scheduled things like a lumbar puncture, spinal tap, another MRI, all this. But it was all planned for January, okay? So we were just going to get back in the swing of things, finish up December. She was doing better that next week, feeling great. She had 2 days where she felt completely normal. And then Friday night, she got home from her choir Christmas party and said, I have a headache starting again. And she was panicked. And within 30 minutes, her face had gone numb, which hadn't happened before, including her mouth. And I was getting scared if she could breathe. Fast forward to Monday. By that, we were still at home, and I had been messaging with the doctor. He called me and said, he's called me, not the nurse. He calls me, which is a miracle in itself. So he called me and said, how is she doing? I said, not good. I don't know. This headache has really bothered her. She's dizzy. I'm helping her to the bathroom, just not good. He said, I want you to come back to Children's, come to the ER, and then we're going to admit her, get her comfortable, and do some tests. So we spent 5 days at Children's. This was the first full week of December, and I watched her be poked and prodded and pumped full of 6,000 milligrams of prednisone. And my competitive dancer went from, pirouettes and dancing on point to that week we were relearning how to walk around the floor of the 6th floor of the hospital. We did get a definite diagnosis of MS that after they eliminated a lot of other things. The spinal tap was the most informative to eliminate things. And then the doctor basically gave us 12 hours to decide if we wanted to start an infusion or not. Most things are not approved for kids at all. And the infusion it's mostly used for cancer patients. And so it was very likely that insurance would reject the price of it. So he felt better to do it while she was inpatient, because insurance couldn't say no, it's already in her body. And it's such a high risk of rejection and anaphylaxis as they administer the infusion. So yeah, we had less than 12 hours to research and decide. And she had her first infusion while she was there, and then took her home. And probably it was the scariest December I've ever experienced, just because we knew that most of our doctors and team were on break. She still was completely numb. I was working with the school. I've basically become a full-time administrative assistant with appointments, insurance, referrals, the school, the 504, all of that. So that being said, I am not in a place right now where I can plan an event. The fact that we pulled this event off is an absolute miracle. I feel like I've lived for the last month, maybe 2, waiting for the other shoe to drop because she could be readmitted at any time. She's doing great. It's hard to believe. You know, January 2nd, when she had her physical therapy evaluation, she couldn't close her, like if she would close her eyes, she would fall over. She had no balance. Now she's back to dance. It's modified. We've dropped a lot of classes. We've got understudies. Nationals, we're supposed to go to Branson. It's highly unlikely that she'll be able to dance the whole time because her body won't handle the heat. But I told her no matter what, we're gonna go, cheer on the team. Yeah. So creatively, my tank is a little bit empty. It's hard, I think, as a mom to watch your kid hurt. I think it's hard anybody to witness that. It's also hard because I am a doer, a control person, and I want to fix it, and I can't. I can't even predict what will trigger the next lesion. The 2 lesions that she had between Thanksgiving and Christmas both attacked the brainstem, which is very dangerous. It happened very fast. We won't know if her infusion is working until April. She will have an MRI and then blood work, and they'll see. And basically the infusion just reprograms her immune system so that it's not attacking the coding on the nerve cells in the brain. And we just won't know, you know, and if it's not working, then we have to try a different drug. Right now, our doctor, we were there Thursday, all day. We met with our team for 5 hours, and that's why I didn't sleep Friday before the event, because it was just too much to process. But, you know, he feels that right now she's in remission, but there's no telling how long that will last. And once the infusion starts to work, he has people who are in remission for 12 to 18 months before they have a bump in the road. Or, you know, so we're just trying to get her in a place where she'll be going to college in a year and a half. Yeah. And it's just terrifying to see your healthy kid, no signs of anything, go from that to, yeah, I was carrying her to the bathroom. And that happened in less than 3 weeks. The kicker in all of this, so many things about this are God. Totally, and my faith is very strong. I've also been very angry, but the fact that we had a cancellation and the doctor that we got runs MS research, he's also a professor, and there's just too many things that have fallen into place, and I am so grateful. But my father-in-law has MS. He has been in a wheelchair for 10 years. He's had MS for 40 years. He has progressive. That's not what Lauren's been diagnosed with. We had just finished in May building a completely handicap accessible suite so that he could visit us. And then my child gets diagnosed with it in November, and it was never on my radar. Never. I mean, I thought I wouldn't have walked into that appointment without my husband had I known that, you know, this is what we would find out. So it's just been a lot, and it's been a lot of questioning, like, did I miss something? What should I have done? And now they would like to enroll my other 2 kids in a study to start monitoring them, which is terrifying. They say MS doesn't run in families, but it does now that I'm in a group. There's also no information for pediatric MS, especially like all of Lauren's teenage friends we've tried to explain things and they're like, they don't get it. Like, that's an old person's disease. And we're like, well, yeah. So Lauren and I have talked about we may write a book for teens because there's nothing on the market right now. So thank you for listening to that. Like I said, I don't want to put a damper on the weekend. We are taking it one day at a time. She is a hard worker. She didn't want to change life. You know, she thinks she can go back and do everything she could do before, which, close. It'll be close. But you know, we've dropped a lot of dance classes. She dropped fourth period at school because she needs to be at OT and PT every week. There were a lot of other things that I've just stepped in and said, nope, it's gone. We can't have that extra stress right now. She's still taking AP Bio, AP Chem. She's the dance captain for choir. She's in the show choir, and then she's doing dance. But we just never know day to day what's going to happen. So yeah, creating is my therapy. Completely, 100%. It has carried me through so many things. But right now it's been hard to do. And I think we all go through those times where we struggle. So I'm trying to put one foot in front of the other. Some days it's just, Lindsay, you've got to glue paper to paper. Like, let's do this. And yeah, so thank you for listening. We appreciate your thoughts and prayers. We do have a carrying bridge because it just got to be too much for me to try to keep everyone informed. Plus we were 2 hours away from our kids. We don't have family here. And just trying to keep life going for everyone has been a lot for me to manage by myself. So that being said, if things level out and we decide for 2026, I will post it in the group first. You will be the first to know. You will have access. I already had a theme in mind. I'm not going to tell you, but you know, the wheels are turning. And like I said, I do love being able to put these boxes together and think of each of you and spoil you in this way. Okay. Hopefully during all of that, you were able to finish your banner. I now have 2. I'm gonna have to gift one to someone. I am going to put this away and I am going to pull out our project from Friday that we didn't finish. So we finished one side of the layout. We did the cards, which I've got the cards here. Oh, and I wanted to give a shout out to Tracy. I'm not sure if you saw her, Tracy Cannon. She made Valentine's versions of these and they're incredible. I love them. And it's with I think the heartstrings paper, and yeah, she did a great job. So check those out. They're in the Facebook group. We finished those the other day. If you are access only, your paper was not pre-cut for you. But if you got the box, everything was pre-cut because we didn't know if I was going to make it back from the hospital in time. Okay, I'm going to shift things around, but it should be this layout that we're finishing. We were able to put together the left side on Friday. We need to finish the right side, and then we need to assemble the other layout. And I think we're good on time to be able to do that. Okay, so what you need is the other half of this ledger paper. You're going to use this green with the nail heads, a transparency from the Vicky Bouton pack, and then this larger vines paper. Okay, and then our background piece is that 4th of July paper from Photoplay. Okay. And then I'm going to have us go ahead and pull the pieces. The only one that is a sticker is this one right here. Everything else is from the die cut pack, so we'll pull those together. That sticker is this one. I covered most of it up so you could just see the florals sticking out, okay? So just keep that handy. And then let's go through our pieces and find what we need. I'm going to pull my banners out of the way. Okay, so our title is going to be from that Cocoa Vanilla pack. And I chose Gather Together. So let's see if I can find it. So many good pieces in here. Okay, so here we have Gather Together. And then the other ones are going to be from the Vicky pack. The trees are easy to spot because they are huge, and I ended up, you can see, whoops, I ended up cutting them down a little bit because I wanted room for other things. So got the trees. We need this thing. I called it a terrarium before. What is it? Somebody give me the name of what that is. And then we also need the houses. I just came across the houses, so I'm going to pull those out. There's 2 of them. Okay, we need this little notebook piece with the spiral edge. Here's the other house. Okay, so 3 houses all together. 1 of the ferns, which we're going to tuck under. And this piece. And then I need 2 little accent pieces. This one that says Happy Little Moments, the gold. And then the other one is this tab here that says Happy, which might be a little harder for me to dig through. I found Discover. Now I need to find Happy. Well, I'm not finding it. If I'm like finished going through this. If not, I pulled this documented because I feel like that could go too. Oh, a bell jar. Okay. All right. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Kelly. Becca, were you saying you could tell us like for the theme? Is that what you were hinting at? I'm reading back through comments right now. Okay, let me check one more spot for Oh, I think I found it. Okay, here we go. It was on my tray, my project cart. Okay. I am going to switch to my brown ink for this, which I think I was using Mocha Mama for this one. Yeah, so this was for my banner. I'm going to put that away. Okay, I've got some Mocha Mama here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and ink all of these pieces. Thank you all for your messages. I appreciate it. It has been a journey, and yeah, it's a lot. I think as a type A control freak mom, you know, a lot of those like, really, God, really? Why couldn't it have been me? You know, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ink the Vines paper. This is that photo play paper from the Everyday Junk. Same with this one, with the nail heads. And then for the, excuse me, for the transparency, you don't really need to worry as much about your adhesive for this one because we're going to hide it. So let me pick mine up. Mine, I just really didn't, see, it's not adhered here and it's fine, but I did adhere it behind where this piece goes. The other thing I'll do sometimes with the transparency is use the tiny attacher and be able to just staple it and keep it on that way. All right. Okay, so I got my inking done. I'm going to start by adhering this large blue ledger paper. beautiful Vicky Bouton paper. That's one of my questions that I would like to ask Vicky, or she probably doesn't even know the answer. Is all of her paper that was American Crafts, is it going to disappear? Because you still find it popping up every now and then. They've got to still have some in their warehouses. Like, now that she's moved on, I'm assuming they're allowed to still sell it because they basically owned her name, but I've just wondered, has it become kind of a collector's item, like how I hoard my basic gray? Or, you know, like one of those, or I'm not sure. And then Erica last night, I think, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Erica said she was finding American Crafts at, was it Dollar General? That she said American Crafts was showing up there. And I've wondered too, because the mecca of American Crafts stuff was Tuesday morning, right? And then once Tuesday morning disappeared, where did it all go? And I was hoping it would show up. Some people had said, oh, it's going to show up at Burlington. It'll show up, you know, TJ Maxx. Oh, I haven't seen it. So if it's going to show up at Dollar General, that's kind of interesting. We'll see. All right, so I am kind of placing the transparency where I would like it. I don't have any adhesive on it yet. And then I'm going to put this one where I want it, this nail head piece. So I've kind of centered it on the transparency. It's hard to see, sorry. And then what I'm going to do is flip this over, and I'm going to put my adhesive right here. So that way I know it's not going to be seen, and then I know that I can stick it down. And it should be enough to hold it, because we're also going to add adhesive to the photo mats, to, you know, the other pieces. There's a lot on here that will hold this. Okay, so now we have our entire base built, and we're ready to do the fun stuff, right? We're ready to do the decorating. Let me grab my photo mats really quick so that you can see that online. Okay, so the photos are each 4x4, and I've said this a couple times this weekend. Again, with this, anytime I'm going to print a 4x4, if I don't do it in my persnickety box, which I highly recommend, then I would print this as a 4x6 in the Project Life app, and I would print some 2x2s to use for something else. You know, why waste photo paper or ink? Be able to use it. So you're gonna have two 4x4 photos. You could also easily switch this to a 4x6, or even like a larger, like a 5x7 nice impact photo here, because you have this kind of mat behind it. Okay, so I have that laying there. Now is when we need that sticker. So the sticker is this one right here. It says wonderful in every way, and it's going to end up, really you only see the flower part of it. I am going to adhere this. I might have gone a little higher than what I did on my sample, but that's okay. All right, so before I stick it down, I'm going to have my flowers just kind of peeking out there. And this is just another, you know, the clusters are very pleasing to the eye when you have the 3 pieces. And it just, the odd number I think is what does it. But I try to do little ones to kind of anchor the photo. So I'm also going to tuck the fern leaf under here. I'm going to do a little bit of adhesive on the bottom and then a foam square at the top, so that at least part of it is peeking out, that's raised up a little bit, because I don't want my photo raised up. Okay, and then the last piece right here is that happy tab. And then you still get just a hint of the flowers there. I like being able to layer on top of things and just have little peaks of things. Okay, I'm going to add this other photo mat so then we can build this whole side. Okay, so the first piece that we're going to add is the tree. I ended up, you can tell from here, I probably took off about a 1/2 inch on the bottom, just because I was working backwards to try to make sure everything fit. But I like it better now too, because I liked having the title word over it. So I'm going to adhere that flat and just let it overhang a little bit. Okay, this is very much a Colorado tree, because when we moved here, well, let's just say this. I am the most homesick in the fall because, you know, complain about winters in the Midwest, yes, but nothing compares to fall in the Midwest. The color, I would say the only thing else that compares is Pennsylvania, because when we lived in Pennsylvania, seeing the mountains and the colors, oh my goodness, just incredible. But really here, we have the aspens, so we get the yellow. So in our yard, for our house, we've planted a bunch of red maples because I miss the color. Okay, so the first 2 houses are going to be flat on the page, and then I'm going to spread it out just a little bit more. Oh, sorry, ink. The ink was Mocha Mama, so it's just a brown. You can also use, I think there's like tree bark or tree, they just change the names each time, but I think Mocha Mama is one of their staples now. But I also use tree trunk quite a bit. Okay, so I've never seen anything at Dollar Tree, so you must have a better Dollar Tree than I do. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Okay, Dollar General. Okay. Okay. I'll have to check it out. I don't even know. I mean, I know where the Dollar Trees are. I frequent those quite a bit. And my daughter, her elementary school, it is next to an independent post office, which I love. They are a dry cleaner / post office, and oh, they're just the nicest ladies that run it in there. Our regular post office they're angrier than the DMV. Like, I hate having to go there. So the fact that I can go to Piccadilly and, you know, talk with Patty every morning. So that's typically my day is in the morning. If I take Noelle to school, drop her off, and then I can run in Piccadilly, drop off packages. And then there's a Dollar Tree right there. And that's the one that I usually go in. And then in the afternoon, when I go to pick her up, same thing, stop in at Piccadilly, mail packages, and then go to the drop-off line at elementary school. It is going to be so weird to not have to do that for the first time in, I don't even know how long. I mean, Noelle will be going to middle school next year. Colorado is a choice system. So it's a lottery to apply to these schools. They're all public schools, but they're all known for something different. And we happen to have a wonderful middle school literally in our backyard. Like, the parking lot backs up to our backyard. So that's obviously where we wanted her to go. That's where my other 2 girls have gone. And we just found out probably a week or 2 ago that she was chosen in the lottery. So this week is bittersweet. It'll be my last elementary Valentine's Day party after many, many years. And you know the game I bring, bingo. I've got Valentine's bingo that I take all the time. I remember when Maddie was in kindergarten and I got to run the party, and I brought Valentine's bingo, which it was one that I had found, I think, on Etsy, printed it out, laminated it, brought it in. And the moms were laughing at me, like, why did you laminate it? I'm like, because I have 3 children and I'm going to be doing parties for the next however many years. So yeah, I laminated it. And like, kids are gross. This way I can wipe it off and use it. And we've used it year after year. And I'll tell you, other than the minute to win it games, the 4th and 5th graders love bingo. They absolutely love it. So yeah, I've got my Valentine's Day bingo. Okay, so while I was talking, I was poking out the inner pieces to the title, and then I've just added my foam squares, and I'm going to put those above the houses here. Okay, I also have been helping run the book fair for many, many years now. I love Scholastic Book Fair. Very scared, didn't think we were going to survive with COVID with Scholastic, but they've pulled through. There's still a lot of growing pains as they're readjusting, but yeah, my last Scholastic Book Fair for elementary will be in April, which is also crazy. So I definitely need to make a scrapbook page about that. Middle school has book fairs still. High school might even, I don't know. But it's not the same. It's not, you know, you don't do a theme or go all out. It's not the same excitement. It's just different. And some of the middle school books are scary. I mean, just the covers, I'm like, oh my goodness, take me back to, you know, Babysitter's Club and Dog Man. Okay, I've got my title on here. The next thing I'm going to do is add my little notebook piece. And this, we don't really need this for journaling because we had done that other cutout down here at the bottom, which you can add your journaling and your date. So I just wanted it more as an accent. I'm going to kind of create my cluster of 3 here before I glue it down. So the only piece that is popped up is this Happy Little Moments piece. I'm gonna get my foam dots on there, and it does overhang just a little bit. I'm going to do my bell jar. I will remember that. Well, it was funny that both collections had the bell jar, and I don't even remember. I mean, this has just been released in the last year, the mixed media stuff for Vicky, but Fernwood it was quite a ways back. And then now, you know, everything old is new again. It all comes around. And then, yeah, we've got the bell jar and then for the brand new photo play. I think my absolute favorites of Vicky, I haven't seen cut and paste yet. It's on order, so I haven't actually had it in my hands. But this one, Fernwood, is one that I have kind of hoarded. And then Print Shop. I loved Print Shop. And then also I did a lot with the travel one. I feel like it was a fun one. And then Paige Evans Collections, the one that I've hoarded, is Truly Grateful. That one is my favorite, probably because it's fall themed and I love fall. Okay, I trimmed off the bottom of the tree and we should have a complete set. Okay, so hopefully you're able to finish that layout from Friday, which seems like so long ago. And then we are going to do, oh yeah, Judy Blume. You know, her, not to be political or anything, but a lot of her books have been banned. I don't think we've had any of hers on our carts at all. And it's hard because a lot of the Scholastic stuff, you know, one entire case, and a case is this metal thing that we open up. It will be all journals, right? And that's what all the kids want. They want the stuff, not the books. But Babysitter's Club is back as a graphic novel. There are some out like Sweet Valley High. I read that as a teen. That's back, but it's as a graphic novel. I'm trying to think what else. There's a couple others that I've bought my daughter, because especially with dyslexia, she's struggled with reading. She's done amazing catching up, but graphic novels are more her thing. She loves being able to have that, you know, the picture. And I've heard parents like, no, choose a book, not a graphic novel. Well, most of the time, with the exception of like Dog Man and Captain Underpants, because most of their vocabulary is potty words. But for the most part, graphic novels have a higher level of vocabulary. that are included. So I don't feel bad that that's what she's reading. We also do audiobooks. Yeah. But yeah, it's, and then the cases, I always try to learn kind of the boy cases. We don't call it that, but you know, it's the comics, the Roblox, the video games, all those. I always try to study up on what's new for that so that I can answer that for the parents when they're in. And we get a lot of grandparents coming in and want to know what's new, what should I buy? So I try to pay attention what's going on in the elementary world. Okay, this is layout number 2. So you are going to need this brown wood grain, which is actually, if you flip it over, this was, it's a Kelly Bangs collection. I'm not sure if it was it might be What's Cooking. All right, so I'm just gonna locate my cut pieces here. And again, they should be in your class bag. Yeah, What's Cooking? Another fun one. We will be using this sticker sheet, which is like the paint splatter. And this is the one where I had said use your glue stick underneath it just to kind of reinforce. And then we'll have some pieces that we'll find in a minute. But for right now, let's make sure that we've got all the large paper pieces that we need to put this together. Okay, so first you should have 2 sheets of this wood grain paper. I've got a paper for photo mats. This pink paper, which is that's the Vicky Booten travel paper, that is for our giant photo mat. You should have this piece that looks just like random borders. 2 pieces of blue paper. One should be shorter and one goes with the borders. And then there should be this piece, which we're going to use this first, so keep this handy. And then this one that is the notebook with the receipt. Okay. So what we're going to start with is this piece. We're going to fussy cut around it, and I'm going to show you. I did not do really detailed fussy cutting. I kind of left a white edge. That's a sticker there, sorry. So there's kind of a white edge there, and then I just roughly went around the flowers all the way down. Okay, so that's what we are going to start with. I'm just gonna grab a drink of water really fast. Yeah, it's been really fun. Shannon said she loved Babysitter's Club and Sweet Valley High. It's been really fun to reintroduce those to my girls. And Lauren, my oldest, she went through a phase where we were trying to track down all the old Babysitter's Club. My parents had given me a box from their basement, and I had a lot, but not enough. So we spent one summer, oh my goodness, we found them for $0.25. We would find them for $1, you know, like looking at thrift shops and used bookstores, and she loves them. She still reads them now and then. Like if she, with all that's happened, she was struggling to sleep. She'd be awake in the middle of the night. Me too. 3 a.m. right? And I put a couple Babysitter's Club books next to her bed. So I'm like, don't pressure yourself. Just read until you can fall asleep. You know, like it's a comfort book, kind of like our comfort shows that help us. And yeah, so she likes the super specials, the ones that were really, really thick. All right, I'm gonna start cutting. I've got my scissors here. So funny story, I had ordered these scissors. They're my favorites, so I'd ordered them to put in the sale. And I I don't know, I just typed in Cutter Bee fussy cut scissors, you know, and whatever came up, and I ordered them. It looked like the picture looked exactly the same. And yesterday, as we were laying things out for the sale, I'm looking and I'm like, these are not what I ordered. They are plant scissors. They're from the same brand. They're from American Crafts, and they say for plant and herb cutting. I'm like, that's not what I that's not what I wanted. So we did not list those because I wanted the fussy cutting scissors, but I kind of think they're the same. I mean, Fiskars does that too because they have all the gardening stuff. It's the same scissor. It's just, you know, how we have our good paper scissors, and then I've got my scissors in the kitchen that my family's allowed to use, and so I think they're just the same scissors but for a different purpose. Okay, so I'm just loosely going around this, leaving a border. I just like the detailed edge and what it adds to the layout. Okay, so that is my finished piece. Oh, no, thank you, Carrie. You know, I love all the Beverly Cleary books. No, Ramona is good. And there was a movie, right? They did a movie, I think, that I watched with my daughter. That's always helpful now, as, you know, Netflix keeps making shows about the books. So it gives us an incentive. And that's what was great with Harry Potter too, is to be able to read through those. And I think Maddie and Adam went through the whole series during COVID. They would read every night, and they might have started at book 2 or 3 with Harry Potter, but yeah, they got through all of it with COVID. And then with Noelle, we've started doing it too. It's just some of the later books for Harry Potter are pretty dark to read at nighttime. We want everyone to be able to sleep. Okay, so I have these, I have this paper cut. What I'm going to do now is just take the product strips off of my background, and then I'm going to label these photo mats so that you know what size they are. Okay, so we have a 4x4, 4x6, this Sharpie is dying. Let's see if this is better. A little. 3x3, 3x4, and then 6x4. Okay, so once I take the product strips off, I'm going to take the right side of the page away. That way you can see the page that we're working on. And then I'm going to cut these photo mats, that way you're able to see it on my finished layout. So some of these papers, like that's the photo play, the border strip was the photo play, but these the blue is actually bold and bright, or bright and bold, whichever way it is for. That was Vicky's latest collection, and now cut and paste should be coming very soon. I've heard February and I've heard March, so we'll see. And it was one she was surprised. She didn't even know if they were actually going to come through and make it. Okay, so I have my stack of photo mats here, so that I can just add those on, and then I'm going to take this page away. I have one of my backgrounds here. Okay, so we're definitely going to need that piece that we just cut. We need the piece with the ticket. We need the longer dark blue piece. And then we need the border strip. Okay, so I'm just going to start adhering. This one, we're going to come at it from both directions because I want to make sure that it ends up working in the middle. So it's probably going to seem odd how I'm going to glue it down, but there is a reason that I'm doing it this way. First, I'm going to ink the edges. I'm using that Mocha Mama again. It is listed in the sale. Okay. And this part, for the most part, we end up covering all of this up. I flipped it around because I wanted to kind of hide that portion. Okay, so then once we get it adhered, it'll look like that. So I'm going to start with the long blue piece first. And then I will do this border strip right next to it. This would be a great layout to add those 49 and Market rub-on stitches because there's already so much of the black and there's a couple little hints of the stitching coming through, but it would be a great one to try it out. The one that I did I did a Doodlebug layout that, it was their newest collection, which, you know, is like hot pink and orange and the bright green, and then I did the black stitching on it, and it turned out amazing. It looks real. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of center this from top to bottom. And then, yeah, I've got this weird gap in the middle, but I wanted to be able to adhere that right there. I am not going to put adhesive out here yet because I want to be able to tuck that photo in. Later, I will probably stick it down just so it doesn't get caught as I'm slipping it in and out of a protector. Okay, so that is our base of our left page. And I'm going to need 4x6, which will get tucked, a 3x3, and then there'll be a 4x4 up here. All right, now we need to find some pieces. I think these are all from the pack. Okay, so I see the clipboard right on top. I also have this flower stem right here. Butterfly, nope, I think we need him later though. Okay, here's one of the heart pieces. There it is, the green butterfly. Pink butterfly. You got the circle element with the butterfly on it. I see the dragonfly here. All right, so what am I missing? I am missing a turquoise heart and an acetate piece. Let me see if they got dumped onto my tray, because that's what happened with the other piece. tell if it's in this one or not. Okay, there. This is one of the transparencies again, this moment. And then I am just looking for the other heart. Well, I found one that's a different color. That's not the color I wanted. Okay, that might have to be, I add it later because it's probably stuck in one. Oh wait, there's a circle. Oh, nope, that's a star. I keep finding little circles, but it's not the right one. Okay, not there. All right, I will add this other one later when I locate it. And then we also want the sticker sheet. Okay, so I am going to adhere the photo mats, but this one, let's wipe all this off so you can see. This photo mat right here actually has a pink ink blot sticker underneath it. So it is this one. These are very thin when you peel them. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of glue stick on it. And it's going to go right under my photo mat. So it looks like I did something fun and messy, but I did not get messy. And it's just kind of a nice accent peeking out there. The other sticker that we're going to use on this side is the black ink blot, and we'll add that as we build this cluster. I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this. That's a 3x3. I'm gonna add my dragonfly with some foam squares. Oh, did I miss the pink butterfly? Oh, there it is. Okay, so pink butterfly. I'm just gonna put it right in here. Okay, now we can work on this top part. So our main piece, besides the photo, is this big clipboard. So you want to make sure you have room for that. And I did poke out the hole there, and I have these everywhere. Everywhere in my house you will find these little papers because they just cling to everything and they travel. All right, so I'm gonna just get the clipboard in place, and then I'm going to lay the photo here but not really glue it down yet so that we can get the other pieces in place. I'm going to do that black sticker. And add a little bit of glue stick to it. And then it's actually really, it's got different, cool different designs. So however you want it, put it right here, add that little ink blot. Okay, Amy, I don't know what that Among the Hidden series. I do like the Hatchet. That is a good one. The kids all love the nonfiction, like the Who Was, Who Is. I feel like no matter what age they are, they love those. I'm so glad that they're getting exposed to the nonfiction. Okay, I think I can go ahead and add the photo mat now. everything else will be built around this. So I'm going to add the green butterfly. Okay, here's another trivia question for you. What is this butterfly? It's not a swallowtail. What is it when it has the, it looks like the eyes on it? I should know this because we would always raise butterflies in my preschool and kindergarten classrooms, and I should know the different types. But in Illinois, you always raise monarchs because that was the state butterfly. Okay, so I'm adding this floral stem. The other thing that they've done with books, they've taken some like Little Women and, you know, some more of the classics, and they've made those into graphic novels. Now they've condensed it considerably, but it's kind of a nice exposure for younger kids to do that and then be able to watch the movie. Okay, so I'm going to add my cluster down here, and these are all with foam squares. I did use a foam square behind this moment, and you can't tell. It doesn't show through. I think the great part about this giant ephemera pack is that you get it all. You know, you're getting the stickers, you're getting the washi pieces, you're getting the acetate, whereas most of the collections you have to kind of piece it together a la carte. Like, I want the floral, I want the journal, and then these new ones have everything, which is nice. Okay, so I have that cluster. The only thing I'm missing is this heart, which I'm guessing is somewhere on my desk. I had everything like cleaned up when I saw Ashley. Ashley usually works with me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and she came Wednesday last week because I knew Thursday I was going to be at the hospital all day. And I had made progress. I was cleaning. Now, to be clear, we were ahead in November. We had a really good couple of events. We were ahead on kits. And so December was just going to be organizing, cleaning up, and event prep. That's all it was going to be the whole month. And then I don't think I had her work for me a single day. So then we start really full-fledged event prep, and there are just piles everywhere because new product came in, you know, just so much. So it's been a lot to catch up on. We're doing great. We're getting there bit by bit. But Wednesday when she left, I did have things pretty clean and orderly. And yeah, she's going to get here Tuesday and be like, what did you do? There's messes everywhere, but we'll get it cleaned up. Okay, so that is our left page. We are going to shift now and do the right page and get that finished. Yeah, the Who Is one, Nancy, it's great. And at our school, I think in 3rd or 4th grade, they have to pick a book and from that series and then do a report on it. They used to do the Wax Museum where you would actually make a poster and do a character, and our district took all that away because they said it was, I don't know, not allowed anymore. But my 2 older ones got to do that, and Lauren did, of course, Disney. She and a friend did Roy and Walt Disney. Maddie did it twice. And she did, gosh, the first one, she was a dancer. She was a Native American. I don't remember now. I'll have to look it up. But it was really cool because it was one that we had to dig for extra information. There wasn't a lot out there. And then the other one was Princess Diana. And Maddie kind of became obsessed with Princess Diana and the death and all. I'm like, ooh, let's be careful with this one. But yeah, she liked it. And then, of course, they came out with Taylor Swift, because I think that was our fall book fair. Usually the first day the books arrive, I walk through and just reorder anything I think is going to be popular, because you only get one reorder. You got to do it before you even open so that you get it in time. And the Taylor Swift books have been flying off the shelves. So yeah, there's a Who Is Taylor Swift. Okay, so for this companion page, you're going to need the notebook paper, the blue strip, the pink accent mat, And then these other two pieces that we need to adhere are both from the Vicky Bouton pack, and they're large, so it's not too hard to locate. Oh, there I am gonna, wait, is that the heart I needed? I think it is. Oh my goodness, it was right there. Yep, okay, let me add that. Whew, all right. Okay, I have a complete page then. All right, so back to this. We are looking for some of our pieces. I just found a butterfly. I'm looking for that butterfly card. Here it is. So it's this larger card. We're going to cover up part of it. This notebook spiral piece. And then we're going to go ahead and pull a couple of these others just because they're going to be layered, so it's important that we have them now. So this giant floral. I had already found this heart. This is a sticker, this is a sticker, this is a sticker. Okay, so those we're not looking for. We're looking for the acetate circle, the best, the heart circle if you haven't found it, and the details tab. Always those tabs. What did I... Oh, here it is. Laying on my tray. Okay. And then these back here are more of the rings, right? Like from your cup, the ink ring, and then there's a splatter down here and here. I'm also going to find the title. I chose Life with You. You have plenty of words. If that's not, not what you want to use, that's fine. I was just trying to make, again, I wanted these to be more general pages, not necessarily a holiday or, big event, just every day. I don't do a lot of crafting for myself exclusively anymore. I mean, I use all of my my page kits, I'll use the samples and then that goes in my albums. But one project I do every year, and I started it, I think I started before COVID, but I do Allie Edwards' Week in the Life. And it always inspires me then to take more pictures, because then I realize how much I've kind of slacked off. I have not taken many pictures at all in the last month or two, with good reason. I mean, there's just been a lot going on. But that project always kind of brings me back. I feel like it's usually in the spring, maybe. But I look forward to it. And I don't even necessarily use her stuff. Sometimes I buy like a piece or two. I have one album that I just keep adding it in. I'll grab it in a second and show you. But it's fun because each day I kind of focus on whatever we're doing that day, what we're watching or what we're listening to right now as a family, or one day is usually like work, and then that's everything from homework to whatever I'm doing, whatever Adam's doing. So it just gives you like a really cool picture of each year, how it changes, and it also just makes you more mindful of your photos. And I've been very minimal with it, so I've got many years in one small album, and I enjoy doing it. Some people, oh my gosh, they go all out. I mean, they do the prep day, and they, just it's as big as like a December daily to them. And Allie has so many amazing products, and you really can go all out. I'm going to line this up really quick to make sure that my papers go across. Okay. This paper, I feel like you could go either way. If you don't like this seam over here, you could totally flip it over. You're not going to be able to tell. I just like the tea stained effect. And if I turned it the other way, it would be completely covered. Okay, so I've added my notebook and blue. I'm going to put my photo mats here just so I am okay with spacing. For the butterflies, we're gonna grab the sticker sheet, but first I have this green paint blob ink. There we go. Sometimes they don't want to come off of there and they're so thin. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay this down kind of in the middle between the two. And then on my sticker sheet, you should have a butterfly here, and I used foam squares for both of those. I'm gonna adhere this. And then I stick them together how I want them, and then flip it over and add the squares all at once. Okay. Got that on there. All right, so now we can focus on this big detail piece. This is kind of our main photo with our title, so that's, you know, what your eye is drawn to on this page. So you could, if you wanted to change it up and, you know, do it vertically instead of how I've got the horizontal, it's very simple and you could still use all the same pieces. But for this, I'm gonna follow what I made and just kind of lay things here. So we've got our butterflies, we're gonna have our accent paper. This one, if I knew that I have another layout to do, I would actually chop this off so that I could use this other piece somewhere else, because we're gonna hide that whole white flower. Got our notebook. Okay, and then I need my photo mat. And then my title will go down here. I need to poke those pieces out. All right, so before I adhere these main, no, I think I can do it. I'm going to stick these three down, and then we'll do the sticker things before we add anything else. And for this, sometimes I'm just going to eyeball it, but you can always do a pencil line. You know, sometimes I'll do pencil, lift it up, and then I know exactly where to put it back down. And I just like, when I'm putting the layout together, I like to see the different corners so that you can see the different levels of dimension. So that's why I angle things kind of off to the left or right, so that you can just see that extra layer that's hidden there. Okay, now we need to add our paint ring. This is the blue one. at She Loves Color, I bought one of Vicky's stencils that is the rings like this, like the, you know, like your glass, leaving the ring on the coffee table. All right, so I'm gonna put that one down first. Got a wrinkle in it. Okay, and then underneath, I used this, it's kind of like the coral orange color. Okay, and then, whoops, on the other side, down in this corner, I added the yellow, which is very hard to see down here, but it's there. I think that's the last of the stickers. It's just a really pretty effect without having to get your fingers a mess and your table and everything else. I have nothing against that. It's just not me. It's just not my thing. And I always admire the people who, I mean, some of the stuff is just incredible that people make. I think I don't have the patience to let things dry is part of the problem. I want to keep going and get it. I want to finish things. Like that's kind of the stage of life I'm in too, is like, it's very hard to finish a project. All right, so I'll lay this flower down, and then I'm going to add my photo mat. Okay, so what is everyone going to eat during the Super Bowl? I know we've talked about who we're rooting for, which I'm rooting for sitting on the couch in my pajamas and watching the commercials. But what is everyone eating? Like, do you have like a go-to Super Bowl food? I usually make a dip, like a corn queso sausage dip. And then my girls want stuff in the air fryer. So we may do like French fries or mozzarella sticks, something like that in the air fryer. And then if we have leftover chili, they can put that on nachos or fries or whatever. All right, so I'm just embellishing as I talk. I need to poke these out. I'm not sure. That was another thing. Michelle had those amazing piercers. I don't have my piercer here on the table. Part of it, I've traveled a lot with my stuff. And I was even, when we've been back and forth to Children's, the appointments are very long. And it's been a lot of really long testing for Lauren, like hours and hours. And so I'll take a bag of stuff with me to work on. But they took away my scissors once, and then they never took my crocodile. That was traumatizing. I think that was Janet that had her crocodile taken away at the airport. But I've had to be very careful about what I can get in there. So I had removed a lot of tools from my bag and just took the basics. I did at one point. I was in December when Lauren was admitted. I was supposed to teach a Christmas card class that night at the church for the women's group. And luckily I had most of it ready to go, prepped, but I didn't have the samples done. And so I had Adam, he was going back and forth, so I had him bring it to me at the hospital. And they're much harder on him than they are on me when he goes through security. So they were taking everything away. So I had to go to the nurse's station and beg for their scissors, which they gave me, but she took the scissors, she wiped them down with alcohol, cleaned them all, and I'm like, I am just cutting a piece of paper, I promise, I'm not using this. I just need to get these samples done and get them handed off so that they can have their party tonight and get their cards made, which they did. It ended up fine. It was just funny that, what we have to do to finish our projects. Okay, so I added my foam squares to the back of my title. Oh, I just heard the dryer turn on. That's good. That means my family is following my to-do list on we have a whiteboard in the kitchen, and I gave them a list today of a few things that needed to be done before we sit and watch the game tonight. I think Lauren is going to a party, but the other two are staying here. Nancy said her husband's in charge. Okay. Carrie, you got yours taken away too? It's crazy. Well, and sometimes it depends on which airport you're in, because the smaller airports seem to be pickier. I've gotten through things in O'Hare that I never could have gotten through at other places. So yeah, it just depends who it is. And let's see what else. Ooh, buffalo chicken tenders. Nice. That sounds really good. I'll be over. I bet your house smells really good, Carrie. So the funniest thing that I had happen was I was going to Illinois for an event. It was a weekend crop that my friend Sue hosts in a hotel. And I had really prepared, made my page kits I was taking with me. And I got stopped in security, and they pulled me aside, and I'm on TSA pre-check. We travel a lot. My kids know the drill. We're very efficient. So yeah, they pull me aside. I'm like, and an officer comes up and he's like, we need to go through your bag and talk to you about these documents. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, there's a box of documents or cash in your bag, and we need to go over it. Sure, whatever. Well, it was my photos. It was my Creative Memories box of photos, okay? And he takes it out, and I'm like panicking because they're organized, right? There's probably, 200, 300 photos in there, organized, file tabs, ready to go for my weekend that I spent so much time on. And he's wiping it down, and then he opens it up, and I'm like, please, and they're being suspicious of me because I'm acting so paranoid about it. Then he laughs, and he's like, oh my gosh, from the scanner, this looked like money or documents. It's actually photos. I'm like, it is, but please don't mess them up. Please. So they wiped it all down, put it back through their machine. It was totally fine, but it was just one of those things like, why would I travel with a giant box of cash like that? Yeah, anyway, it was fine. I got my photos. I had a great weekend, but yeah, we've got a lot of different TSA experiences. Yeah, and sometimes they'll let you, if they understand what it is, what the tool is. Like, I crop it out, yeah, it's heavy, but it doesn't have anything really sharp on it. It's a hole punch. It's just crazy. Okay. I am going to wrap up. You should have 2 completed layouts. The only layout that I did not finish with you was this one from yesterday, this bonus one. Oh, that's why I hate these sticky ones. Sorry. This one. I did not finish that with you, but we had all of the pieces pre-cut if you were cutting along with me, so that one should come together really quickly. There are also instructions in the Files tab on the Facebook page. You hopefully were able to complete these 2 layouts. I'd love to see, especially if you got photos on them already, love to see what you came up with. All right, we have shopping at noon. So we're gonna take like a 30-minute break, which is good because I need to get it all set up on the tables. And then I will see you for shopping and prizes. Hopefully you can kind of lunch or snack while you are watching me, because the layout with first it's Andrea. The layout with Andrea is so pretty. It's the floral wreath using the front porch pieces, and you're not going to want to miss that. So I will see you back in about 30 minutes, and we will do our final prizes of the day. I can't believe it. And do another our C sale, our C album of shopping, which is a lot of Doodlebug. Pretty sure that's what we've got. get ready in the bin lined up to go. So thank you very much, and I will see you soon. Bye, ladies.